Hi everyone, it's Paul again, and welcome to the video for day one of the 2026 Cheltenham Festival. We are, God, what are we now? I'm just looking at the clock. As I'm recording this, just over 26 hours away from the opener. Already been a bit of controversy. A few Irish horses having trouble getting over here because of the weather. I've actually heard some of them were actually redirected last night to Birkenhead, which is just down the road from me, and now making the long trip down to Prestbury Park. It looks like we're going to actually have decent ground this year, not like the bog we faced the last couple of years. And let's face it, it's the best time of the year, isn't it? So let's just dive straight into this. The day one starts, as always. Not that every race is where it usually is this year, a couple of variations. Race one starts, as always, though. Race one of day one, the 120, which is the Supreme Novice Hurdle. It's a 2-mile novice hurdle, grade one. Now, something I want to start with here, and it hasn't really made the press. Some of you may know, some of you may not. Do you know they've actually altered the position of the final hurdle at Cheltenham this year? In previous years, when you got to the final hurdle, it was after the equivalent of where the last fence was on the chase course. And then the run-in, they have moved it further away from the finish line. It's now between the last two fences. Now, this is going to change. I can't believe they haven't made more of a deal of this, because this is going to change a hell of a lot. It's going to mean that the hold-up horses have to get going earlier, I think. Equally, for the front runners, you've got to hold on to your horse that little bit longer, because usually you can hold on to them and then fire it at the last, and then a relatively short running. It's a lot longer this year. So the tactics are going to be absolutely critical on this, especially on better ground as well, I would say, because I think you're going to start seeing some absolutely flying out the clouds late here. I don't get the logic on why they've done it, if I'm being honest. I think it worked great. The only thing I can think of potentially is horses. There was quite a few tired falls at the last year, so maybe they're thinking after they jump the last, it's then on the flat, and it'll stop them racing so far out coming off the final bend. I don't know, but they're the tools we got to play with, and that's what we are going to play with. So starting off with this Supreme Novice. Anyone who's been on my WhatsApp service will know I recommended this anti-post a long time ago. We're on anti-post, and his form has got nothing to discourage it. And the pick in this race is Old Park Star, Nicky Henderson, Nico de Boinville rides. 3 for 3 over hurdles, done absolutely nothing wrong. But for me, the one where I thought, yeah, we're in business here potentially, was that victory in the Supreme Novice Trial at Haydock last time out, about just over 7 weeks ago. This is a very, very big horse, this. And what I love about him, though, is the way he moved. He front run that day. And what I liked is he was nimble over his hurdles. He stacked them up and they came, and then he just quickened, but then kept finding. Nicky Henderson as well. He's had, some decent horses in this over the past few years, even the likes of say the last few years. God, it's a decade ago plus now, isn't it? Where does the time go? But the likes of your Sprinter Sacras, your Altiors, etc. And I think Old Park Star here at 6 years old, I think he could be another potential superstar. He'll definitely be a chaser in due course. I'll put money on that because he is a big horse. But he seems to go on any ground. He's got a good attitude. He travels really, really well. And he's got a mixture of pace and stamina. And I just think he ticks all the boxes. I've seen some people saying, oh, well, there's a lot of front runners in here. He won't be able to front run. I don't think he necessarily has to be honest with you. I don't think he has to. And I just think he's got something special about him, hence why a lot of us have been on him anti-post from about 14-1, now currently around 5-2. Mighty Park is next in here. Willie Mullins, Mark Walsh taking the ride, obviously JP McManus trained horses. Next year, it will happen. Harry Cobden, obviously the new retained rider for JP McManus next season, he'll be on these first strings. And to be honest, this horse could be anything. Only one run, won by, I think it was 38 lengths at Fairy House. I don't think the form is particularly staggering, but on the eye and on the clock, it was a really, really good performance. That's the only piece of form to go off, and it's a great piece of form. He had the options of this, he had the options of the Turners, and they quite quickly committed to this. My only slight reservation I have about him is only obviously the one run, which is not necessarily a bad thing, which I'll get onto on the next race. But the sire of this is Walk in the Park, who are generally known for their amazing staying capability. My slight concern I would have here, for all he will be staying up the hill is, and he could be anything, that's the problem. On this faster ground and 2 mile trip, is it going to catch him out for speed? That is the question. Talk the Talk is in here for JP O'Brien, JJ Slevin taking the ride. I was actually really taken by his win at the Dublin Racing Festival, because that race was run at an absolute crawl. Yet he still managed to get up quite late on, and it was a good turn of foot. He seems to be this, again, a mixture speed and stamina, very similar to Old Park Star. And what I liked is he had a crunching fall the time before that, and the way he has bounced back from it. As I said, he's rated 150, Old Park Star on 151. There's not much between them, if I'm being honest. I just think I'm sticking with Old Park Star because I just think he's the one who could go on to be something special. El Kairos is in here as well for Gordon Elliott. Jack Kennedy takes the ride, runs in the same colours as Romeo Coolio, who had tipped up, that came second last year. He cost an absolute fortune. This horse, he cost a fortune out of the David Maxwell disbursement sale. Would have won very, very well a couple of runs ago, but took a horrible fall at the last. Came back 40 days ago and won as he should have. My worry about this one is his jumping has been horrific, if I'm being honest. It's been really, really bad in all of his runs. And do you know what? He's probably the one with the biggest reputation, the biggest profile of the horses in here. But you can't jump like that usually and win a Supreme Novice, especially on fast ground. Sometimes if it comes down to stamina, you can get away with some sloppy jumps and stay on. But this is going to be a quick race, I think. And El Cairo's jumping is a massive worry. My Daddy Paddy, this is a really interesting one for the home team, Dan and Harry Skelton. Last run at Aintree on Boxing Day and got turned over at a massive price. Granted, the race was not run to suit. They missed out at Aintree that day. God, what did they end up missing? I think it was the last 3 flights, the whole straight. So it turned into a National Hub flat race for the second half of the race. Before that, he was really good. Harry and Dan Skelton both said they don't think he was at his day, at his best that day. And based on his previous form, he was really good. Again, by Walk in the Park, the fast ground would be a concern, but I think he was better than he showed there. Leader Dallier, Willie Mullins, Paul Townend was really, really good on the flats or in French bumpers. And he won his latest hurdle start as well as you want. The problem is that form's amounted to nothing, and he will need to take a massive step forward. Interesting one at a big price is Sober Glory for the Hobbs White trained, it's becoming very in now, isn't it? Joint trainers. Ben Jones taking the ride. Only been beaten once over hurdles, and that was on his second start where he wasn't quite right, apparently. Bounced back with 2 good runs since and was really, really good last time out at Newbury. Those on the WhatsApp service will know I tipped him up that day with 4-star confidence. And he duly did the job. Now, this horse has to front run. If he doesn't get to the lead, I think it's going to be a problem. Now, he's a potential front runner. Baron Noir is potential a front runner. What was the other one? Too Bossy for Us, one from the front last time. Cocktail Bruit is a potential front runner. That's my worry for him, is that there's going to be too many front runners on this fast ground and they're going to go too hard. And it might put him off. It's hard to make a cause for the rest of them. Look, it's a great race. They're all good horses in their own right. But if everything's run to form, it's hard to make a case. But for the 1, 2, 3 for the Supreme Novice Hurdle, I'm going for Old Park Star from Talk the Talk. And I'm actually, do you know what? I'm actually going to put in there Sober Glory, because I like the horse. It's a classy horse. And I think he might, even if he doesn't get the lead, run on for a place. Which moves us on now to the 2 o'clock, which is the Arkle Grade 1 Novices Chase over 2 mile. And again, anyone who's on the WhatsApp service that we've got knows Kopek Day Board has been absolutely top of my list for a very, very, very long time, pretty much since the summer. After he won the Supreme Novice last year, in my book, which if I had it with me, I'd show you where I wrote it last year, I wrote Arkle, everything about him screams fences, everything about him screams 2 mile. I don't think he needs any further than 2 mile. I think he is one of those genuine quality 2 mile horses. Came fourth first time out, which was disappointing, but was not right. He was off a long time after that. Then he... Sorry, that was fourth, was over fences, over hurdle, sorry. Came back after that. Won impeccably first time out, like jumped like a stag, quick and well, everything was right. Got a setback after that. That is the one nagging doubt you've got. For all, he has gone really, really well fresh in the past, probably best fresh. But that win, it's got to be said, that win over fences, we'll go back and watch it on Racing UK Player, which is free. It was amazing. All of the vibes have been strong since. Apparently, he's right back to his best. He's got his good ground, which is pretty, not necessarily important, but he's a better horse on better ground. Ruby Walsh has been more than talking this one up. Even Barry Geraghty has said this could be the next Irish superstar, and I like to think that he will be. Lalamba, though, you've got to give maximum credit to Lalamba. He's done absolutely nothing wrong at all over fences. Nicky Henderson trained, Nico de Boinville on it. Really impressive was winning the Game Spirit, coming out of novice company to win that last time out. That was really impressive. Don't get me wrong, the horses he's beaten over fences before then have been nothing special, if you want me to be totally honest with you. But he is following the same route as Sprinter Sacre and Altior did. Everything about him, which is really fascinating that Nicky Henderson obviously puts him in that same class of horse. My worry that I've got is the strength of the form, and also go back to hurdle form, and Kopek de Board's form was a lot better than Lalamba. Lalamba was turned over at a very short price by Poineros, who was 100 to 1 that day in the Triumph last year. But Poineros, do you know what? He might go in, Poineros, I don't know how to say it, might go and surprise everyone in the champion hurdle, but he hasn't shown enough since to go, he is ultra level. And even East India Doc, he is basically a very, very good flat handicapper. Obviously, again on the WhatsApp service, after the Triumph and the anti-post came out for the Chester Cup, which I went to on that day, it's only down the road from me, and he won that, I tipped it up and said, we need to get on this at about 14 to 1. Went off 5 to 1, I think it was that day, won dead easy. He's a very good handicapper, but the balance of hurdle form puts Kopek de Board above him, and I think Kopek de Board has still got a hell of a lot more to come. Cargies for Willie Mullins and Dally Mullins is interesting. The mare is going for this race. Won the county hurdle last year. And what a battle she had with Romeo Coolio in the Irish Arkle. All the way up the straight, but was outstayed. My concern is that was only 5 weeks ago in absolutely bottomless ground. And that's got to leave a mark. It has to, surely. If she doesn't, then she's one of the toughest mares I've ever seen. Steel Allies won 3 handicaps in here, basically, in lower level races, but will need to step up, as will Jax Jr. Jax Jr., to be fair, do you know what? That win last time out a couple of weeks ago was good. He was entitled to win it, and he looked like he wanted further than 2 mile. He could run a decent race at 22 to 1. The one who I think is overpriced, however, and we won on him over Christmas at Kempton, is Mambo number 5, Ben Paul and Ben Jones. This horse had done absolutely nothing wrong in his first 3 chase starts. Really impressive, especially at Kempton at Christmas. Travel like a dream, jump well, stayed on really well. I think, though, it was an absolute car crash of a decision to run about just over a month ago on bottomless ground at Warwick, and he was beaten easily. He couldn't jump out the ground and he couldn't travel. Again, what has that left on him? He is a better horse on better ground. And what I would say is, for all he came third, they didn't give him a massively hard time after he was beaten. I think it was just a stupid move running him on that ground. I think he will outrun, all things being equal, his 33-1 tag, if you want me to be honest. But for the win, it's about one horse for me, and I've got quite a lot riding on it this week in multiples, singles, anti-post, and it's Kopek Day Board. 1, 2, 3, Kopek Day Board from La Lamba, and I'm actually going to put Mambo number 5 in there. It's a shame it's only top 2, but some of these bookies allow you to edge your bet, and I think if you can get an extra place on that, and you like a bigger price, there's a lot worse. The next race is the race I hate more than any at the festival. Detest would be the word. And even though I've won it a few times, and that is the Fred Winter Handicap Hurdle for juveniles. It's stick a pin in the paper stuff. So I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on it because, as you've seen, you could have some horse with no form suddenly go bing and win, and it's impossible to lay up. Nicky Henderson, well, JP McManus is triple-handed in here. The current favourite is Manlager for Nicky Henderson and Nico de Boinville. One last time out, taking care of the rear pros in Pourquoi Paz Papa, who won really well at Win Canton, I think it was the time before that. Unexposed off 11 stone 6, could be anything, but only run twice. In the same McManus colours is Saratoga for Pedro Walsh, Mark Walsh taking the ride. Came second last time out in a race that has churned up the winner. Never won over hurdles though, decent on the flat, could be anything. Now the pick I'm going for is Winston Jr. for a trainer not many of you'll know, Faye Bramley. Very, very taken this, that Jack Kennedy has been booked for the ride. He made all at Ascot last time out and quickened away really well. No front runner has ever run this race. That is the danger here. Though saying that, he's another one. I don't think he necessarily has to front run. People are saying it because he came second over hurdles the first twice out. They were like, oh, well, when he changed to absolute front run and he won, he won't be able to front run. I think he can lay in, and on Burr form, I think he is the one to beat. Amez is in here for James Owen. The bit that's making this jump out is Sean Bowen, champion jockey-elect, is taking the ride here. He's won twice over hurdles, stepped up in class and was easily beaten by a Triumph contender last time out. Run on the all-weather. Again, could be anything. Glen to Glen's coming over from Ireland for JJ Slevin, riding for JP O'Brien. He won a maiden hurdle last time out about 12 weeks ago, hasn't been seen since, could be anything. Now, one I do like and could be a danger because he's a trainer who's, I don't want to say dodgy, but he knows how to put one out for a race, let's say it, and that is Moonseve. He's currently first reserve for Charles Byrne. Very, very good on the flat. Done very, very little elsewhere. But now in a handicap off 11 stone 2, this is the type of horse that will mystically suddenly go and improve, and everyone stands there and goes, how did that happen? That's the problem with this race. Madness Dele is interesting. Willie Mullins, Danny Mullins taking the ride. Won a maiden hurdle as easy as you want last time. But what's that worth? I don't know is the answer. This is the problem. Same with Bibe Moose for Nicky Henderson. Sorry, Paul Nichols, Sam Twiston Davis. He won 3 days ago at the weekend. Won dead easy. But is the race going to come too soon? Is it too hard? Pourquoi Papa Par is in here at 16-1. Now, he was very consistent and very good before being turned over by the current favourite for the Nicky Henderson horse at the moment. Saying that, he was ahead of him in the market. Could he suddenly pick up again? He could outrun his odds at 16-1. It's just an impossible race. But for the 1, 2, 3, I'm sticking with Winston Jr. And I'm going to trust that form line. So I'm going to go in for a 1, 2, 3 of Winston Jr. from Manlager. And I'm actually going to put in Madness Dele in here just in case Willie Mullins is sitting on one that could improve. And then we're on to the 320, which is the Ultimate Handicap Chase 3 mile, grade 3. 22 runners in it, but who everyone knows, and I mentioned it in my little video I did last week, I have been all about Jaguar for the last 12 months, certainly since October. And again, we're on a good prices anti-post here. Obviously, I tipped him up last year when he duly won the plate here. I really, really fancied him that day. And the key was the good ground. And he's even got his good ground here. Since then, he's run twice at Cheltenham. I think one was in the Gold Cup over 2.5 mile handicap. And another one. Both races he run absolutely great. One of them, the ground was not to suit. Both of them, he looked like being the winner, being a bit outpaced and staying on, obviously on a revised mark, having won the plate last year. Everything about this horse is screaming 3 miles, and that's what he's going to get here. 3 mile 1. I think he's got a nice mark. I think he's on a good mark. Mark Walsh, it's interesting, Mark Walsh has picked this one over the second favourite, which is Irocco, who is bound for the Grand National, run really well in it last year. Obviously, in my ancient video, you'll know I actually had him down to win that one, and he looked like he was coming, didn't quite get it, another year older. He won that graduation chase really well the other day. Well, say the other day, it was at Ascot. When was that? December, yeah, I couldn't remember what it was, but he has got to lug a huge weight here, and I suspect this is going to be more needing to get a run after 80 days off to go to the Grand National. So I do think, and based on jockey booking as well of Mark Walsh, Jaguar is the pick of the McManus horses. Quebecois is interesting in here for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden. He reckons he's got him back to his best form here. Run better last time out, hasn't won before, but as a result has got in off 10 stone 10 by no risk at all. His best hurdle form was over 3 mile. I think that horse is going to run better than he has been. Handstands, same applies. Ben Pauling, Ben Jones, not won this season, but last February won a grade 1 over 2.5 mile. Needs to find a bit of something extra, a bit of change of headgear here, I think, again. He could run better than he has been. For saying that, 11 stone 12 is a hell of a lot of weight for a horse who needs to improve. Maya Town's in here, the Lucinda Russell train, Derek Fox riding. He won this doing handstands last year. No pun intended on the horse who I've just mentioned. Didn't. But he's got in off 10 stone 13 here, but he has shown absolutely zero form this year. He'll need a monstrous bounce back coming back to Cheltenham for this. Highland has been running in all the major handicaps for Nico de Boinville and Nicky Henderson. Has a record of 3 from 5 here, though, at the course, which is really interesting. Was close fourth in the big handicap at Ascot in December, and given a break since, got a nice mark off 11 stone. I think he's the type who will run well, but you just don't know if he's going to be his day again one day. You're taking a risk it's going to be. Johnny Who, I can't stand this horse every time I back it, and I think today's the day. He runs no race. Went close in the Kimbior last year. Now, I didn't fancy him, as you know, in the Kimbior last year. And when it looked like he was going to win, I was just like, please, no, not him. And he didn't, and he duly didn't. Always has wrist attached. He's going to go in one day, but when is that day going to be? Overpriced horse in here is Resplendent Grey. Ollie Murphy, Sean Bowen takes the ride. Won the Bet 365 Gold Cup over 3 mile 5 on good ground last year. The one problem with this horse is he likes hitting fences. If he minimises the mistakes, he's got a great chance because he's got some engine, this horse. Change of headgear, they're hoping is going to bring about some improvement. One who I think is overpriced, because everyone always says, who do you think's overpriced in this field? And you are going to think that I'm an absolute psychopath for staying it. But I think Philanderer for Hughie Morrison and JJ Burke is overpriced at 66 to 1. He's got in right at the bottom of the weights off 10 stone 2. Very, very consistent horse. He won, and you're going to think this is nuts, he won a veterans chase. Now, that doesn't mean a great deal, obviously, as a matter of form, but he won it well. But the form of that race is actually turning out. Go and look at it yourself. It's turning out really, really well. He's got enough of bargain basement weight. The stay in, he won't stay the test. But his sire is Kaif Tara, who stayed all day. I think Philanderer is massively overpriced at 66 to 1. And I'm going to put him in the 1, 2, 3. But for the win, we are going with Jaguar because I'd be a fool not to keep going with him. 1, 2, 3 then for the Ultima. Jaguar from Quebecois. And I am putting Philanderer in there for a huge run as well. Brings us on to the 4 o'clock, which is the big race of day one. It is the Champion Hurdle. It is a grade 1. It is over 2 miles. What a race. What a race we've got here. Don't get me wrong. It's cut up a bit. Sergino sadly got a really bad injury last time out. Fractured pelvis, still in horse hospital as it will be even now. We obviously wish the best for him. At the time, it looked a lot worse. I must be honest, it looked a lot worse. So it's good that he's still here. And then obviously, we can't not mention the retirement of one of the greatest of all time, Constitution Hill. From jump racing, he is going flat racing. As I said in my other video, personally, I would have liked to have seen him run. They've done all the work on him, but I get what I mean. The differences between now and 20 years ago is the court of public opinion nowadays is, well, it's all over the entire world, isn't it? What people consider right, wrong, all of this, that, and the other. As I said, Moscow Flyer 5 times, he felt the turf. He came down 5 times in his career. No one was saying, no, you've got to stop everything and run him on the flat. But Nicky Henderson is doing the right thing by the horse. Best of luck to Constitution Hill. And we go with what we've got here. But what I would say is, just look at this top 4 in the betting. We'll start, obviously, with a bit of a now, not the favourite, but she's the reigning champion, so she's got to be mentioned, and that is Golden Ace. Jeremy Scott trains, Lorcan Williams, very fortuitous winner of this race last year. Constitution Hill was still cruising a long way out, came down. State Man had it won, came down. The same Brighter Days Ahead didn't run the race, and a lot of other stuff, but she capitalised on it. What I would say, since then, done nothing wrong since, never finished out the first 2. For all her comeback run was awful, beating it, I think it was 2 to 11. Since then, has come second in all major races, picked up a win as well, which is superb to see, and came second again last time out. Loves the course. What I would say is absolutely loves this course. Distance is no problem, stays further. You can set your money on Golden Ace, all things being equal, running a good race. Brighter Days Ahead. This one, this horse is given me nightmares. She's a classy horse. She beat Lossiemouth, no questions asked last time out. Not a problem at all. Hasn't been at her best this season, if we're being totally honest. Lossiemouth smashed her the time before that at Christmas and wasn't great first time out. And there is this huge question mark. She is the John Bon of hurdling. That's how I'm going to call her. John Bon. Over fences, amazing horse. There's always this, does he like Cheltenham? He doesn't run horrifically at Cheltenham, but is he as good at Cheltenham? Brighter Days Ahead is in that camp. And people you can't say that. It's been 3 times now. You know what I mean? Picks up wins for fun elsewhere. Cheltenham never got it. Another year older, can she improve? Possibly. We're then on to Lossiemouth, and let's face facts, Lossiemouth is a Cheltenham legend. 4 from 4 at Cheltenham, including 3 festival wins. Like, do you know what I mean? That's just unbelievable love for the course. And she keeps coming back year after year. Absolutely, she'll go down as a legend of the game, whatever happens. She is unbelievable. The slight concern is it was a below par run last time out, where she was beaten fair and square by Brighter Days Ahead. I think, though, better ground and the spring is the making of this horse. For all, it wasn't a great run. She gets the mare's allowance from the last horse we're going to mention, the New Lion. 4 from 4 at the course and distance winner, speed, stamina. I think she's got everything. I'm just looking now. 9-4 her, and 5-2 the New Lion. There's nothing in it, but I just think Lossiemouth, she is a living legend, and I think it's going to be her year. People said last year they should have stepped back for 2 Mile, myself included. They've done it this year. I think they're going to get the rewards. The New Lion won, obviously, I tipped it up last year, won the Turners last year, won the Grade 2 on Trials Day latest. The race lost its shine because Sergino's injury in it. And while you would have expected him to win a lot better than he did, they went an absolute crawl in bad ground, and he did quicken up well. The only other run before that, he fell in the fight in 5th when just making his move. We'll never know what would happen, and the horse has never been beaten when staying on his feet. The question will always be, is he going to be better over further being by Tara? And especially on the faster ground. Is it going to put his jumping under pressure? And I think he will be staying on up the hill, but I just think with the mare's allowance, Lossiemouth is just going to have a bit much on this day. Ponerosso, I mentioned the other day, is in here. Won the Triumph, which was a complete shock at 100-1. Never looked like winning any of the top graded since. Alexi has been performing really, really well for the Tizard Yard. Won a handicap over course and distance, won the Kingwell latest, but that form line is miles behind it. Tutti Quanti for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden is improving, supplemented for the race, but they'll get that supplementary fee back if they finish in the first 5, which it more than likely has got a chance of doing, but has still got to find bags of improvement to win. 1, 2, 3 then for the Champion Hurdle, Lossiemouth from the New Lion and Golden Ace, which now moves us on to the 440, which is the plate handicap chase. It's a grade 3 over 2.5 mile. I will not say the name of the sponsor. Being from Merseyside, we don't talk about that sponsor. And being a Liverpool fan, we don't talk about that sponsor. I have flip-flopped on what I'm picking here in the last 24 hours. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, I have. And it was done purely based on the ground. The selection here is the current 5-1 shot, and that is Madara for Harry Skelton and Dan Skelton. The reason for it is this horse loves good ground. Being by Dr. Dino, it's not a surprise. His 2.5 mile course form, as I said, is off this similar mark, is so consistent. And he ticks all the boxes. Now, how do I word this on the 2 runs this season without being nice? Both runs this season, he was tenderly handled, in my opinion. Cruised through the race. Hey, he's going to come and win. Didn't. And could he have finished closer? I think he could have. Could the ground have been better for him? Potentially, yeah. But I think he was tenderly handled, especially last time out. As a result of that last time out, he did drop £3 in the handicap, which is beneficial. But he ticks all the boxes. He's got amazing form over this distance. He got solid course